Hello, everyone. It's Leslie Flowers, Trailblazer for Women in Business, and we are at the Awakening Your Infinite Potential Telesummit, sponsored by Accelerate Experience Events 2018. And it is my extraordinary pleasure to have with me today Krysti Turznik. Hi, Krysti.
Hi, Leslie. It's so good to see you today.
Yes, happy to have you. So Krysti, everyone, is a motivational speaker who shows people how to shine light on their shadows, understand that mindset is everything, and to show up as a powerful creator in their own lives so they can create a life that you don't need to escape from, where everyday life can feel like a day on the beach. Boy, that sounds good to me. Krysti inspires and equips people with practical tools and the desire to etch away rough edges and implement personal changes required to live a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. Krysti's #1 best-selling book from last year, Mindset Magic: Using Scientific, Spiritual Principles to Create Your Life, has been endorsed by Michael Bernard Beckwith. She holds a master's degree in metaphysics, a Bachelor of Science degrees in biology and metaphysics, is an ordained minister and a consulting hypnotist who has been helping people improve their lives for nearly 2 decades. Krysti lives in Wisconsin with her husband, daughter, and 4 cats, and she can be reached at powerful-mind.com. Welcome, Krysti, again. How are you?
I am wonderful, and I'm so thrilled to be here talking with you today because I know that these topics are going to be impacting so many people in so many different ways. So thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. And we're really looking into what awakening is, how you recognize it, what is infinite potential, and once you figure it out, what do you do? And is it complicated? And what is it? And so you have a particularly interesting story of your awakening and the steps you took to get where you are today. So let's start out with, tell us a little bit about where you were and the magic of your mindset and how it led you to your awakening moment.
Oh, absolutely, my pleasure. So, and as you said, it really is so very magical. My own journey had started when I was in childhood. And for much of my life, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I had anything of value or worth to offer. So I settled into a life where I really started to play the part of what everyone thought that I should be doing. And I let my dreams and my goals become secondary. And I took that message to heart. And lo and behold, when I was 17, I developed a heart condition. And I, again, settled into that same sort of life that I knew was not the life that I was supposed to be leading. And at one point, I remember specifically, I was in the shower, and the extent of the loss and the sadness at how could my life have become here, it was completely unrecognizable. And I knew that I had to do something completely different. So in that moment, I claimed something different for myself. I literally screamed no in my head and would not tolerate that. And instantly, that physical symptom had gone away. So I started to explore the mind-body connection. And as I healed those emotions, my heart condition healed. And it really taught me about the power that we have within ourselves. So that was really the first big awakening that I had. And then again, I allowed myself to kind of settle back into where I thought that I was supposed to be. And I ended up in a job that really was not fulfilling me emotionally or spiritually. And I had that another beautiful awakening. One day I was having a conversation with myself, just saying, what can I do? I need something that's going to be filling my soul, that's going to be making me happy. And instantly, like hypnosis popped into my head. And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. So I followed that nudge, that inner guidance. And the next thing that I did is I started researching and looking into this because I didn't know where this thought had come from, but I knew that there was something to it. So 2 weeks later, literally 2 weeks later, I enrolled in my first hypnosis training. And that motivated me to start doing the work that I have been doing, for these past 18 years and putting all the pieces together. So it really has become a beautiful awakening and experience.
So let me ask you a question about this. And so what I'm hearing, Krysti, is that the first thing is that you realized the magic of your mind, if you will. You proved it to yourself by healing yourself, right? So you actually healed your own heart condition through what you were thinking, which is another whole conversation. Then you acted on intuition when you asked the universe, if you said you had a conversation with yourself. So when you have a conversation with yourself, many of us believe you're having a conversation with the universe, and the answer came in the form of the word hypnosis that popped into your mind.
Yes.
That is an awakening of sorts, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And then you took 2 simple steps. So that moving forward on that intuitive idea that you had you start doing some research into, you registered in hypnosis. And you're saying that was enough to keep you motivated, to keep moving forward. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes, it was all the motivation, because I knew that guidance was something that I wouldn't normally think of. It made me stop and say, oh, I need to pay attention to that. And if I hadn't, honored that, then I would have completely missed, that awakening. But I looked into this. I said, let's explore what's going on with this, and really gave myself permission to figure out what was going on. What did that mean? And what I discovered is, as I was doing that, things started to flow magically. Like, it just became so very easy and quick how soon I was able to get myself into this experience, how soon all of the opportunities started to show up. But then I also had to remember to say yes, like the opportunity was there, but I still had to enroll in that class. I had to show up and start to do the work and put myself on that path of continuing. So that was really the motivation of knowing that this is where I need to be.
So, Krysti, did you have a mentor during this, or a friend or somebody that kind of walked along with you that you could bounce ideas off of, or was it really you, yourself, and the universe working on this?
It was very much a personal, intimate conversation that was and the universe, because those around me didn't have any idea of what I was talking about. They thought that it was so foreign, and they're like, well, you're doing what? But it didn't matter, because I knew that it came from that bigger and that deeper place within that truly was demanding to be honored. So it was that alone solo journey.
So, one thing I really want you to share with everybody is, when you follow your intuition or awakening, I think these words are interchangeable in many ways. It's when we stop for a moment and regard what we've just thought or what has just happened, and then we can either move with it or not. But it's kind of fun. So, Krysti, everybody wants to write a book. Right? And self-publishing is so easy these days that publishing has changed significantly. So I really want you to share with your audience the story of how you actually got Michael Bernard Beckwith to endorse your book. Now, if you don't know who he is and you're listening, I recommend you Google very quickly to see who he is. He's the founder of the Agape Center, and he's quite a spiritual leader in our world. So would you share just a little bit about that? Because it seems phenomenal that you would be able to get this icon, if you will, in that industry to endorse your book.
Yeah. Again, that's where more of the magic is showing up. So what I've discovered is, when you're honoring your truth, when you're on your path, that magic just starts to happen. So for me, what I had done is I started working with a book coach towards the end of the year. And then she had given me the challenge of identifying some bigger influencers whom I would like to have endorsed. So I put my big wish list on of, like, who are those dream people? And, just looked at all of those, and I started researching again. I started taking action on, like, this person has really impacted me in a significant way. So I sent an email to each of them, and I shared how they changed my life and how I would, be grateful for their support and endorsement. And lo and behold, shortly after I did that, I got a wonderful response from one of the people on Mr. Beckwith's team, saying, we're definitely interested in this. Please send us a copy of the book so they can review it. And 2 days later, after they had reviewed it, I was gifted with this beautiful endorsement that really speaks tremendous volumes on, what's contained within the book. So I was truly blessed with that.
And this is, this really has to do with changing your beliefs about how things work. And so tell us what you believed about the possibility of your own potential, Krysti, when you sent those emails out.
What I did was, before I sent each of these emails out, I centered myself. I kind of went to that deepest place that had the intention of, what is the purpose of this book? Like, why did I create this? Why do I want it to get out there? And in my mind, I visualized that the people were receiving it when they were open, when they could really honor the message of what I was sharing, and that they would be getting back to me in some positive sort of way. And that's really what had happened, is the majority of the people that I had inquired about ended up responding to me in some sort of fashion. And, some of them had gifted the endorsements, which was really beautiful.
So I love that. And I ask you about that because, so let me ask you this. What would you tell people, how do you recognize intuition? How did you recognize the thought of hypnosis, as an example? And were there other intuitive ideas that you got that you took action on also? Just curious there about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the way that I recognize the intuition or the guidance coming in is, it tends to be something that is not what I would normally think, or it doesn't come in the way that I would anticipate my own thoughts to come. So generally I will ask a question for clarity of whatever I'm needing in. And it's usually that first thing that pops into your mind. But sometimes it takes a while, and then out of the clear blue, all of a sudden you'll get a little, ooh, well, there's something that I didn't expect, or where did that come from? It usually makes me stop and pause. Like, wow, what is this about? Sometimes I get like shivers or like goosebumps when I get that recognition. So it comes in many different ways. And to speak to some of the other intuition that I have gotten, I had gotten also the intuition to follow up the book with some meditations that are in the book, and actually create like meditation CDs that people can utilize as well. So just a lot of different nudges or ideas that are coming, that are all in support of my ultimate purpose of what it is that I'm trying to accomplish.
And so for the listeners, they can be really hypersensitive to what I heard you say, a different kind of thinking than normal. Something that kind of catches your attention. It's not your normal thought processes. And the reason I think this is so important, because Krysti has created, what you believe is actually what happens. And people say, well, it's very, just change your beliefs. Well, that isn't an overnight thing, right, Krysti? So tell us about what you've created for us so that we can become more present and change our beliefs about our potential and our value. And I know that that's what your worksheet is all about. So tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. So when I was going through my awakenings and my transformation, it was very helpful for me to first have an awareness of the thoughts that were taking place within my mind. And what I had discovered is a lot of those beliefs that I had weren't mine. They were passed down from generations, or they were from things that I have accepted from those around me. Right. So to have that really present, for me on paper, with this is what I'm thinking, this is where it came from, and to show myself that I didn't need to think that I could choose to believe something different and more empowering. That was very transformational, and it reminded me that I can at any point get back to that infinite potential that is within each of us. Like, we all have that potential to create anything that we desire. So I'd love to share that same worksheet, with the audience, and it's a belief change worksheet to help you go through that same process. And what I'd love to have your audience do is send me an email with the information that you discover, and we can talk about it. It's definitely something.
That is so generous of you. So really, Krysti, you're the mindset magic, right, person, because once you get your mindset in the focused on the way you want it to, like that it matches what it is you want, then anything is possible. I mean, writing a book, getting it endorsed, right? But what I think the important things that you've shared is to pay attention to different kinds of thinking, ideas that pop into your mind, because those are typically intuitive ideas, right? And then pick one or two steps for you to start moving so that you can continue that motivation, right? I love that. And then just be hyper aware of ideas like that. And so everyone, if there is one thing that I would have you do is take a look at Krysti's Belief Change Worksheet. Krysti, is there any one last thing you'd like to tell everybody about awakening their infinite potential?
Absolutely. What I'd love to leave everyone with is just to remember that you are here on purpose, for a purpose, and that you matter. And the sooner that you allow yourself to step into honoring those little nudges, those guidances that you're going to be getting every single moment, then it's easier to walk in the infinite possibilities that are really awaiting for you. So just allow yourself to believe. Yeah.
Oh, this was just wonderful. I'm excited. I recommend everybody listen to this again. Really start paying attention to those ideas, as Krysti said. So this is Leslie Flowers, and I am signing off, heading over to the next speaker. This is Awakening Your Infinite Potential Telesummit. Bye, Krysti. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks so much.